Keith Granke here from Talk Me News with Michael Imperato. He's going to be fighting Jesse Arnett on April 19th at XFFC for the Bantamweight title. Thanks for your time. Before we get to that title fight, why don't we talk first about things that have happened in the past with you. Last fight, you took out the highly regarded Dimitri Wardenberg by ankle lock. Why don't you talk us through that fight for those who haven't seen it?
I actually won that fight by calf slicer.
Was it?
Yes. I knew Dimitri was a very good striker. As everyone knows, my stamina's not that great, but I've been working on it. I put a lot in my head, so like I kind of psyched myself out with that coming out. I froze a little bit. He caught me a couple high kicks, a couple punches, and once I put him down again afterwards, he was very slippery. He got out of a lot of positions. I went for a few different submissions I never finished, but I knew he gave up his back a lot, and I practiced that move over and over again, just knowing that if I had the opportunity, I would go for it, and it would be a good finish, and I did. But yeah, he was a tough opponent. I'm happy I finished it early and I came out with the win.
Well, and talk about your stand-up game. You know, you've got sub after sub on your submission, on your record. I think, you know, most of your 6 wins have come by submission, if not all.
One submission is a decision to Andrew Shea. The rest were all submissions, first round. I like the ground game. I'm confident in my jiu-jitsu. I'm confident in my submissions. And, you know, I do like to stand and bang. And if a guy throws at me, I like to throw back. But if I have the opportunity to put you down, I will. I've definitely been working on my striking, and that's a big concern in my game, which I will get a lot better.
So where are you working on your striking these days?
At Extracurricular, when I was on the Fight Exchange, I had a chance to work with Maurizio. After that, and I really enjoyed it. He was really good. But after that, you know, we kind of fell apart. It's another story. But yeah, right now with Paulo Kekovic, he coached some guys in K1, and he's here from Croatia, and he's helping out, and he makes a big difference. And I'm back with my first boxing coach, Tony Wallace. So between those two.
Yeah, and you brought up the Fight Exchange. You know, there was an incident there. We had the apology on the site. You know, I just like to leave that in the past. But just a couple questions on the Fight Exchange. You know, like, you know, what was it like there? You know, you were a late replacement. You really didn't have a teammate. You know, how many weeks' notice did you have before you were going down to Brazil?
It was only a few, but I know it was a little bit delayed too. So actually a little bit more. But when it came up, to be on TV and to be part of a reality show, like as a young guy, you know, it was kind of exciting for me. At the time, my life wasn't that great. I was going through a lot of rough things, and I kind of just figured, you know, a good way to get away and get back in the game and get a fight. You know, it's always hard to get fights for me, and I'm sure other people as well, but for me in general. So I figured I'll have a fight out there. I'll have a fight Brazil. I'll have an opportunity to train with Jose Aldo and all them again. And you know, I thought it was gonna be a lot better than it was, and it just turned out horrible. So.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like you had issues with James Mean, Kara Kirsch. You know, they were a pair, and you were on your own there. And the training was pretty rough leading up to a fight. You know, what did you go down there with an intention to fight, or you know, when did you realize that you weren't going to fight?
The thing is, like, I don't cut a lot of weight, but I do cut some weight, and everybody else already had an opponent. They already knew what was going on a month or two before the show. I had no idea. James and Kara, when I first met them, they were great. James' stand-up was really good, and he helped me working on it with Maurizio, and they were great when we were in Toronto and when we left, and I thought we had a good relationship. Once we got out there, I guess, you know, I was single at the time, and I was young. I was in Brazil talking about women a lot, and I guess that offended Kara, and obviously Nate is her teammate, and they've been friends a lot longer. He took her side, and the word they used in the show was that I felt ostracized, which I guess kind of explains it pretty well. I felt alone. I'm in another country. No one speaks the language. Nobody's around but them that speaks English with me. The producer's always at home, and we're our own like separate condo kind of thing. And it's after the days go on, and James started a few comments here and there, a few cheap shots, I kind of just lost my mind, and I felt like I can't really explain how I felt, but picked on, and it was weird. I just didn't want to be there no more. And,
yeah.
You know, the training was rough.
It was rough in Nova União.
Yes, that's how they've always been. I've been there before with Wagner Fabiano, and they do train hard. It prepares you for a fight and all that. But I mean, like, man, some days I left the gym and I felt like I had a headache, and like I felt like concussion-like symptoms, and I'm like, there's no way to lead up to a fight. The finally, like 2 days before the fight was supposed to happen, they offered me an opponent. I'm not gonna recut 10, 15, whatever amount of pounds I have to cut 2 days before a fight. You know, you're just not in shape. I'm not gonna step up to another weight class either. And the opponents they were offering me were like really high-level guys who only lost like Dudu Dantes. So it's like my career, I'm not coming down here for nothing, and to have this whole show with a bad training camp, bad weight cut, and to fight a killer and to make my record look bad. So it was a smart decision. And me and as well as Sam Zakula at the time, when he was coaching me, managing me, they talked to him, and And he said, no, Mike, don't fight. Like, and he knows I'm down to fight anybody, and I would say yes. So a lot of it was him telling the producer Aaron, like, no, Mike's not fighting, and it was a decision that we made together, and I stuck by it.
And behind the scenes, we hear a lot of fighters turning on other opponents all the time, right? Just that happened. This was in front of the cameras, right? So I think that's why you see it in a negative light, right? But like fighters turning on fights all the time. It's part of the business. That leads us to your next fight. Well, before we get there, let's say Tough Nations 2 happens. Canada's having bantamweights. How do you feel about cameras following you around again? If would you try out for a show like that?
Now, I believe everybody in life, everything happens for a reason, and you learn from your mistakes. And I definitely know next time I would want more information. I want to know exactly how it is. Obviously, TUF, the Tough Nations is well more prepared and organized, and I don't think I have any of the problems that I did with these guys. So I would do it depending on the scenario. But I'm down to fight. I would definitely love to be in the UFC one day. And if this holds me back because I made a mistake in the past, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. I just have to live with it. But if I could do it, I definitely would.
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt you got the talent, right? So. And that leads us to your fight coming up on April 19th in Grand Prairie. You're fighting. You were going to fight Owen Carr, and you mentioned to me that he's pulled out of the fight. And you're going to be fighting Jesse Arnett first.
Yes.
Owen Carr. I think it's safe to say he's the opponent with the better record and probably the tougher opponent. Did you have a preference over these two, or fight's a fight?
You know what? I had a lot of people tell me not to take the fight, and a lot of people that didn't support me if I was taking the fight. I'm 24 years old. I'm 6-1. If I can't beat him, how am I going to beat anybody in the UFC? I think there's a lot more talent in the UFC than him. Yes, he trained at Alpha Male and he got better over the years. Really, I don't study any of my opponents. I don't watch tape. I don't care. I'm going to fight. If I can beat you and I can do good, great. If I can't, time to move on to something else, So I like to be challenged. I know in the past, Tyler Davis is one argument you can bring up that I didn't fight him. I wanted to fight him. I would fight him any day. But at the time, Sam Zakula didn't want me to fight 5 rounds. He's like, you're not in shape, you're not ready for this, and he wanted me to do it for 3 rounds. Tyler didn't want to do it for 3, didn't want to make the weight less of a title fight, and that's the argument's taken. That's what it came down to. But I'm down to fight anybody.
So, what do you know about Jesse Arnett? He's 3-3, a little bit of a wrestler, I guess.
From what I've heard, like my buddy called me the other day. He's like, oh, he's a 3-time national champ wrestler, and I've seen some videos. Again, I don't like to watch too much, but I think he's beatable. I don't think I have to respect his wrestling for sure. I know from what I heard, he's taller. Throws like a big left hand. I'm pretty sure he's southpaw. I mean, I'm not too concerned. I'm just gonna go show up and fight, and I know I can fight from any angle. So whatever he brings, I'm gonna have something for it.
And now Sam, you mentioned him. You're protege of him. He won't be in your corner for this fight. He's your chief strategist, probably the guy who was watching the fights of your opponents. And what's it going to be like not fighting with Sam in your corner for the first time?
You know what? It's kind of like I guess surreal. I mean, I never thought that. I can never imagine it never ever happening, and I think it won't really kick in until I get to the fight. But I mean, I've been doing my part. I've been trying to work harder and fix all the things that he's been getting mad at me about, and those lead up to the reasons why he doesn't really want to coach me or corner me anymore for this one. So I'm confident in my game. I'm confident in the fight, but having him there, since day one, every grappling tournament he's been there. So it's definitely gonna have some kind of effect. I just don't know what till it happens.
Yeah. So best of luck on April 19th. Before we let you go, any friends, family, sponsors you'd like to thank?
Right now, truthfully, Street Soldiers helped me out a lot. I'd like to thank them. And Doug Arch from Scream to Tour. He's been amazing to me. He's helped me out through thick and thin, and he gives me a place to train all the time. He's very supportive, and he keeps my mind straight every time I'm down on myself. He's always confident and trying to help me out. So I would like to thank him. And Battle Arts, I was over there a little bit with Anthony and Steven, and they were cool. They try to help out. Unfortunately, I won't be training that much no more because Sam's there, and just trying to stay away. But they've been real nice, and they try to do what they can to help. So
yeah. Any last prediction for the fight on the 19th?
I'm not sure. Whatever it is. But most likely it's gonna be a sub. But we'll see.
Most likely a sub.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, Keith Brinker from Top of My News with Michael Imperato fighting at XFC for the bantamweight title on April 19th against Jesse Arnett. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.